I'm gonna let you guys know something before I start a stream for Monster Hunter Stories 2, and tomorrow, need I say more? I'm gonna make some Monster Hunter Stories 3. If you haven't noticed, I've been off for a while. I made two streams before I uploaded. One of them I uploaded after I stopped the Monster Hunter Stories Let's Play, and that was about how I'm not gonna talk about it. Today is a good day. Tomorrow is even better. And the reason why I haven't streamed for a while, because I started that once, and that once I was like, my chest was hurting that I could take time off, and that was after I ended that stream. That was after I ended that Let's Play. I literally said that my chest was hurting due to the fact of holding a lot of pressure in, and it's everything. It's not just who's in the White House, who's serving the White House, who's serving him, right? But I'm gonna mention one thing about it. The reason that I'm gonna name somewhat of the reason why I got super pressured. The Trump lady, right, Caroline? That kind of in a way, her and what Trump did pissed me off. But I laughed at it. I didn't show no anger. I laughed at it. You know, when what's the best medicine? Even though when you're feeling super pressured, even though it can somewhat help, but it can when though your pressure gets you, it can still kind of make you pressure. So the reason why I wanted to make this stream saying I am super lucky, and also I'll be doing more Monster Hunter Stories too, alongside tomorrow Monster Hunter Stories 3. I'm gonna let you guys know why I'm lucky. People are probably gonna be like, "How are you lucky?" I'm gonna let you guys know how many pulls I've done for this new banner. And before I had a decent amount of pulls done, but the problem is that last banner I had a 6-star, so my pity progress had reset, right? And of course I got the free currency daily. I'm only using that free daily pool, not my leftover gems. So I did a 10 pull from the amount of pulls they gave for free, and another 10 pulls. How many pulls did it take me to get Tang Tang? I'm gonna let you guys know, the 10 plus 10, 20 pulls! And if you get a freaking banner and 20 pulls, even though that the pity has been reset, no person in mankind has ever gotten 20 pulls, man. Oh, I'm lucky. I'm lucky. And if you had done in 20 pulls, like I have, uh, what did I look up that it said if a person did it in 20 pulls, that, hold on. I looked it up yesterday. If a person got a banner from this game in 20 pulls, hold on, I still got here, well, hold on, and open the window that I have everything here that I searched. It is significantly impressive and efficient. So, I'm not trying to wear it out, okay? I'm not trying to brag it. I was just letting you guys know how lucky I was compared to usual. Like, with all these other banners that I've tried a 10 pull, only a 10 pull. But if I had done 20, because I had done a few 10 pulls on a few, on one that happened before the one that happened after, the one happened after this, before that one, before the pink girl lady, right? what do you call her? The one that happened after that red hair lady. I got her. Let me let you guys know. I got the one I'm thinking of right now is based
I hate
her
fools who like to micromanage. Thank goodness you're not one of them.
I was able to get her, but mostly I got her through whaling early on, very early on when the game came to PS5. I just wailed her up, okay? I just wailed her up. And apparently her main power is strength and intellect, by the way. Which I did not know that if you get gear, that you have to get it off of their actual powers. So if they're based off of strength and, like you see here, intellect, then you want to get gear that is actually based off of those two that it's based off of. So that's something I did not know. I had a friend that taught me about it, so I know now. As you can tell, well, let me
Originium will carve a path.
She's based off of agility and strength. It kind of made sense, right? In some ways, I guess. I mean, if her stats are based off of it, right? You basically put gear that would somewhat be based off of it. I'm trying to farm the blue gear because those are easy to farm. So I mean, I've wasted all my resources early on. When they give you resource for purple gear early on, you're supposed to play it smart, right? Well, let me show you guys the mistake I made. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Okay, yeah. The Triton components. And I have to get a little bit forward through the game in order for me to unlock this probably at the most. I don't get the quest to do so, but I don't even know how to unlock this material as a crafting, you know. But I'll find out eventually as I move on through. Because the one enemy, the one boss fight I'm up to, if I show you real quick, okay guys, because then I'll teleport out. But so far, and I've been doing decent when I okay, I'll have to, okay. Let me show you. And this is the new character that kind of helped me through in the fight when I was using her. Tang, you know.
I was about to go molt from boredom.
I like her personality and her character is pretty good. It's cool and cute. She's both in one, right? She's a cute character, cool character, and that's why I think she's pretty good. You know, her acting and her as a character in general. And I'm pretty sure Saint Tontes will disagree, but that's his opinion. My opinion is different. You know, every person's opinion is different. And I've looked up things about Saint Tontes. There are a lot of people just telling him that he's toxic towards games. Maybe in some ways, maybe not in others. I don't know. I don't know what the whole situation. I'm not even gonna get into his situation. I've already complained at first early on about the situation, and then, you know, I started praising the guy because I said, "Oh, he's right." But then after I watched a few more videos where he uploaded again and again, to a point where I have mixed. I'm just confused, you know. first, I think he's right because the whole situation early on, right? But then I looked up how many pulls would you get bi-weekly? And yeah, you can only get like maybe a 30 something pulls by the end of that month, right? If you do the weeklies, if you do the dailies. But like, I got her in 20 pulls. I was lucky. Super lucky, super lucky with Dang. And I never thought I would get her in an early 20 pool. And I've done a few extra pools other than that, just letting you guys know recently now. I mean, not now, but last night after I got Thank Them. Okay, I didn't do those extra pools right off the bat. I done them after after receiving her. I've used the few pools that I had left from the daily login, which, let me just use them by the way. It don't matter. Those don't really matter. The gems it matters because you want to save those up for when the next banner starts. X. No. Okay, 5-star. Woohoo! I was gonna say, don't give me another 6-star. That would have been way too lucky. That would have been way too lucky. And look, I got some more currency. Because I really haven't maxed them out, so it's a good thing, it's a good thing. Because in the way he actually, if you get the Italian girl, if I actually get him, I don't think I will. Who knows, maybe, if I'm lucky.
And I have a question for you.
I don't know.
What is the material of your mask? Carbon fiber.
Well, if you get the Italian girl, I believe she does go well with him as a team, because I believe it's because their backstory and everything, their history as a character, alongside two other characters. Because if you think about it, the guy that you just saw me got, he's basically I believe he's the Italian guy, and the girl, what do you call it, Rosia, or however you call it. Because I think she just likes you to call the short way. So her name is known, I think, by Rosia, I believe. I could be wrong the way I'm saying it. It could have been Rhodys. No, I feel like it could have been Rosia. But I could be wrong. Rosia, who ends up seeing him, and he sees her. They're both talking in Italian, right? She's excited. He's like, hey, how's it going, right? Like a normal character would. And she's excited because she's like a little pup, okay? And so they're both communicating. She's kind of up there in height. And he's like, oh, hello, like a normal tone. And so when they're talking, they're literally talking in Italian. And at first I thought he was Spanish. But in a way, if you think about it, Spain has been connected to Italy, right? So I didn't know that at first. So when I finished playing that cutscene, and I think it was off stream, I was talking to my dad. I had my phone, and while I was with him downstairs, I was like, Dad, why does Italian sounds somewhat like Spanish? Because I thought that the guy was Spanish just because the way he spoke English with his accent. And I was like, is he Italian? I mean, can Spanish sound like Italian? Or can Italian sound like Spanish? And so instead of letting him answer my question, I just checked it on my own because I was curious. And I wanted to learn on my own. So I looked up, and wow, so behold, Spain was connected to Italy. You have some Spanish that are from that, well, not some Spanish. A lot of Spanish who are, some of their bloodlines are connected to Italians. I did not know that. And so, yeah. You have this whole history with Italians in Spain because they were together, you know? It's crazy. But like, that's something cool, that's something interesting that you never think you're gonna learn at like 34 if you're like someone with disabilities like me. And so because that, I was like amazed. I was wow, you know, I was completely wow. And yes, I got a lot of this currency, you know, I got a lot of this currency. I never thought I would though. Let's see here, 500 that currency. I have to wait until I get 1,980 of the Arsenal tickets. There's a chance I could get enough for another 10 pull if I'm lucky, while the banner is still going on with the free daily login. Not the daily task, with the quietly flow thing daily. Ah, here it is. Gently flow Quinbo sign in. So I get another 2 pulls, sorry. And then that's basically it. And for me, it is highly recommended that I save the gems for pulls work, you know. When you search it up, the developers themselves recommend that you just save up for the next banner. So once you got one banner, and I have been not saving for the next banner, afterwards I have somewhat saved, and my dad gave me a $10 the day before yesterday. I just invested it somewhat on Orignium. I saved it until the new banner and the 1.1 update started, because I only had that 50, and I spend 29 on the Rignium of the premium currency. Thank God you don't really have to pay for Rignium just to like get the free supply, because as you get through content or do certain things in the main game, you don't really have to do the main quest to earn the currency mostly. You do the main quest to earn the currency, right? But, because I'm mistaken, sorry guys. You do the main quest to get them, but there'll be other things where you get the red gems, right? What you do is, you save that premium currency, do not really use it, save it up, and then if you do have a decent amount left over, let's say you have enough of these for that free Iridium supply part of the battle pass, and usually it would be better off if you spent $10, right? Because I literally took the chance. With the banner. So I had some, you know, I used 29 on here. I didn't really get all the rewards from here yet, and so I used 29 out of the 50 I had, and I was lucky because I still had a 10 pulls worth, right? So I had 10 pulls worth from here in the oh shoot. So once you use it, it's gone. So they give you 10 pulls worth when you go to events, and once you use it, that's it, right? So I got an extra 10 pulls because of the amount of currency I had before. You know, I had basically somewhat over the 10 pulls, right? Extra. But I had to do that 10 pulls because I couldn't do a 20 pull worth. So I did an extra 10 pulls with the currency. I took that chance with the 10 pull. So I did 10 pull and 10 pull. Got it in 20. But I was lucky. If I wasn't lucky, whoo, yeah, someone like me who is getting in 20 pulls, it's just very lucky. You would have to be very, very lucky to get a banner early on in just 20 pulls. I have never in my life when I first started this game, I tried to go to the second banner, Gilberta. That's the one I was thinking. That was the second part of the banner of the first whole content, because you had three different banners that was happening for that first whole content. I think, if I remember correctly. Gilberta never got her, and that's because I usually didn't save the currency worth of pools. And I didn't get the one after that, the pink hair girl. I don't know what her name. I don't remember her name, and I would know it if I looked it up right now. I know people are gonna say her name is, something. Don't judge me. But yeah, I was super lucky, and yeah, I'm gonna end this stream now. Just for the sake of continuing the Monster Hunter Stories 2 Let's Play. And yeah, tomorrow I have dentist. But letting you guys know the reason why I'm not too proud of that. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure before I even have that dentist appointment. And before I had it and it got delayed. For the sake of what I'm going through, like I did tell you guys, I go through a lot of deep physical stress, somewhat, to times where I'm not really able to focus on my own self or what I have to do to take care of myself. I have focused a decent amount because I still eat one thing in the afternoon when I haven't eaten in the morning, even though I know that people like me should be eating breakfast as well. But at least I eat decently because I don't eat something that is actually unhealthy. But I have been early in the afternoon, every time I wake up, go downstairs, because I don't wake up earlier. Well, I do wake up early in the morning, but I don't come downstairs around early in the afternoon. So I usually eat because that's what we had before. Very soon I'm going to change it up. We had only something that I usually eat every afternoon is 3 slices of mozzarella cheese, like, calcium. And the one thing that I kind of overdo, because I'm doing it every afternoon, and I don't really eat much in that day. I drink somewhat, but I don't drink enough. And very soon, because I still have some plain old lemonade. Good stuff. And this cup is keeping it cold. Very soon, I'm going to get another cup of lemonade. Because I know that I really need the citrus. And I believe lemons do have somewhat of a vitamin C, right? Because I will be into the stream. But I want to make sure I check while I'm in the stream, right? Just in case of some people who go through what I do and doesn't focus on that sort of thing, you never know. It could be helpful for some people if they watch my stream. Because if they're going through pressure like me and somewhat can't focus on themselves entirely, the only type of help I can usually give to make sure that your stress doesn't really take over, the best thing that would be for the stress is usually nutrition, somewhat. Can it still be useless if you're super pressured, somewhat? Yeah. Some people, sometimes nutrition can't really help them because stress regardless, right? Stress regardless can make it where either you just don't want to live in this world. Think about it. It's been said that Robin Williams, he's committed suicide because of the amount of the depression and stress, and to a point where if you have a lot of stress that causes depression, it can lead to despair. There's a lot of things said about it, and a lot of guilt too. Guilt can somewhat lead to that despair. But he has been through stress, pressure, depression, to a point where it went to despair. Do lemons contain vitamin C? Okay, yes. It contains an excellent source of vitamin C, containing approximately 30 to 50 milligrams per fruit. Damn, that's good. So me drinking lemon is actually a good thing. Drinking a plain old lemonade with no sugar is actually really good. I mean, I know I looked up if plain old lemonade is good for you without any sugar. It is. It's pretty good. It's a better way to like hydrate yourself without putting sugar. If you put sugar, it's gonna make it somewhat less unhealthy, but it's still kind of unhealthy, right? So best to like drink plain old lemonade, not no sugar added. You know, a little bit of that lemon juice with a lot of water, because the lemon that you're adding to plain old lemonade, it's not for the sake of like complete sourness ruining it up, right? Because too much of that lemon juice is not really good as a lemonade. So you want to use a balanced amount of lemon juice, and then water, of course. No sugar, because without the sugar, it's more better. Uh, I wonder if my cousin's peeking, sneaking and peeking, Probably not. She's probably focused on her own thing, Every person in this world is focused on their own thing, because there are just times where they can't really focus on, paying attention to what other families doing, right? Because because the thing is, basically, other family has to. If you have family, your other family is gonna have stuff they need to do too. Compared to way back when you were young and they were young. Even if you're like in your 30s, like me, 34. If you're 34 like me, who have cousins who are younger to you somewhat, but you're older than them, but you're still somewhat young yourself, right? So if you're 34, you have cousins that are around the 20s and you're 34, right? Because you were basically around before you got old to that point and before they reached their 20s. I'm gonna let you guys know, my cousins, a lot of my young cousins are in their 20s. I'm in my 34s. And so a lot of my cousins still, in a way, they're just working there and living their lives, which is nice. I like how my 20-year-old cousins who are actually taking this life and world seriously and taking that responsibility for whoever is their parent who is around now, which is nice. It's nice how you have your family, your younger family, just doing what they need to get by. Me, I can't really work per se yet, not yet. But whenever that time comes, I will need to work. I will need to end up getting a job eventually, because of if I'm not able to get a job, everything goes down, right? And regardless, everything is gonna go down. So if I had work, eventually I would have someone that's willing to give me a place to stay eventually, right? I mean, depending on the person who's your boss, right? And how that person is as your boss. Because I know there's some bad people in this world, but I also know there's some good people in this world. You never know. You'll meet someone as you work, and that person is your boss, and he's someone willing to help, There are some really decent people who are willing to help, as long as you don't bring politics, okay, guys? One advice, and this is something I never had to do because I know, right? But one bit of advice, because I never mentioned politics to an owner of a business at all, but this is something I also know by heart, the reasons why I had never done, because back then I didn't really know, but then I started paying attention to a lot of things. But if you do get a job later down the road and you're suffering because a lot of things due to, like, it could be many reasons: politics, tariffs, and many more. and sometimes you're not aware of it. You may think, oh, I'm getting money, right? But later down the road, you'll see something is weird. Because you'll be like, hold on, I don't have no money at all, right? Where's my money? And then you're just confused. And then you're realizing, what? Right? You thought you were gaining money at first, and then later down the road, you realize you're not really gaining a penny. But here's the thing. Me and my family so far, we haven't had to go through that yet. But if I'm alone, and if they do take down Medicaid and Medicare, which a lot of people are saying, and these are the stupid people who support Trump nonstop, the only reason why these people hate Medicare and Medicaid is they're saying, oh, it's dangerous. Other countries are taking the drugs from those pharmacies because of Medicare and Medicaid making it easier for them to get it. You know, there has to be people making sure that never happens. And it has had a thing. They had people making sure it never happens. What is that one person that's trying to take down the security in general and then putting his own ICE security group, right? And they're not really doing what people think they're doing. They're not really protecting legalized medication drugs. So meaning, and plus they're bringing illegal drugs. So it don't really matter. And some of these Americans who only, and they're not really Americans in some ways, they're just, if they are, they're just completely toxic towards the non-Trump and only just support Trump. That's why they call them Trump MAGAs, right? They'll support him but go against the other side. He pays them, basically. And so, with those people being toxic, saying, right? We don't know what they're actually saying. They'll blab, they'll talk shit, and then when you say how you support one side, they'll say, did you know they're criminal and have criminal records? Did you know that Kamala doesn't really have a criminal record? I have searched it up. They do not say it at all. The only side that is saying it that is misleading is people who support Trump. And those are the only people that mostly say it to mislead others. So, I had a friend through my other friend. And he told me how, and this is something I wasn't really looking up. And he said how, and this is something because he's not really supporting Trump because of the sake of just supporting. He's somewhat being misled in some ways, but he don't think that way. So I don't really talk to him saying that, you know, you might be misled. No, I don't say that. Because there are things that he don't realize, the reasons why he voted for him, and he don't know what Trump is doing. Well, he can't really vote, to be honest. I don't think he can because the past history with him. But, and I won't say that. That's something very personal that, yeah, I know the somewhat of what he told me, the things he had to go through as a little kid or a teenager, however you want to say it. But, so because people like him couldn't really vote, it didn't really matter because I feel like people like him should still have the right to vote. Even if he will end up supporting the side he believes is right? Because at the end, he'll start figuring out some things wrong. Like, he started figuring out things about, like, how tariffs were making it where he won't be able to receive pay from the Social Security. He has a Social Security. We all have a Social Security. And so he's in another side, right? I believe he's in Texas. I could be wrong completely. But in other states, in other countries, they will have problems receiving certain payments from Social Security, even if they have a Social Security here. Because over here, you have the Social Security. And if you are in the countryside, it's a little bit harder to receive what you've earned through the Social Security here. Or usually you don't have to have a Social Security here. They usually just send those paychecks to people in certain countries that basically use US dollars, right? And Texas usually somewhat uses US dollars. So let's say Canada has their own Canadian dollars, but we trade with Canada. They are somewhat of a key ally. That's what we have to say. They're a key ally. Are they a state? No, really. Not really. But some people think of it somewhat of a state-like because of our relationship with Canada. Not really exactly a state. And that's something I looked up too. I've been paying attention to a lot of things, not just political-wise, but history of our allies, right? So there are things that I'm still learning, I'm still picking up, still trying to learn things as I go through. The things that Trump did that he was going to say, right? The things Trump did that he wasn't going to say, that he was saying but he wasn't trying to do so. He meant the opposite. But yeah, it's crazy, right? Alrighty, so I will end the stream to start a Monster Hunter Stories 2 Let's Play before tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll probably be doing both in one, right? I'll be doing one Monster Hunter Stories 2 Let's Play, because I still have like, 10 Let's Plays already out of Monster Hunter Stories 2, because I've been having issues early on before I took time off. I had pain in my chest because of news, politics mostly. But yeah, I'm gonna start the 11th stream in a few minutes. So I'll see you guys soon, and peace.